Welcome into Minnesota Vikings Now. I am Tom Downey. Here's a part of what's coming up on today's show. We'll break down the latest Todd McShay mock draft as it relates to the Vikings, of course. And we'll look at two different free agent cornerbacks who have been more speculatively linked to landing in Minnesota this offseason. It's a pivotal season for the Vikings, the offseason, I should say here. If you trust Kwesi Adofo-Mensah as this team's GM, type in Skull in the comment section. I'm sure there are plenty of you who do that, so I better see hundreds of skulls right now in the comment section. We begin with one of the free agent targets setting up in this offseason for Minnesota. It's Byron Murphy, who I believe we've discussed before on this channel, if I remember correctly. ESPN did a best team fits for like 50-something free agents. They went with Byron Murphy, the Minnesota Vikings, a second-round pick out of Washington back in 2019, has the traits, the upside to play inside and outside. Unfortunately for Murphy, he's never quite been the productive player that I certainly thought he was going to end up being when he came out of Washington. I liked him a lot coming as a Cardinals draft pick. Has not lived up to the expectations there. As a, I think, potential nickel corner for Minnesota in Brian Flores' defense, there are some things that I think match up pretty well. And although I don't think he'd be that expensive despite the draft pedigree, I think he'd be a quality target for Minnesota. Allows you to sign a player like Byron Murphy, give you a starting option, and if there's a corner you fall in love with in round one, round two, whenever, you can still take that guy. And I think in theory, not commit yourself too long-term to that player. Here's what Matt Bowen, the ESPN insider, wrote. He's more of a former NFL player, so it's kind of more opinion stuff. Wrote on the potential signing of Byron Murphy. The Vikings would have to make some moves to create more money on the salary cap, but there's a real need for coverage corners in Minnesota to fit the new scheme of defensive coordinator Brian Flores. I agree. Only Detroit and Chicago allowed more yards per pass attempt than the Vikings last season. That's 7.3 yards per attempt. Murphy's production took a hit this season, only 4 pass breakups. We did have 4 interceptions and 12 PBUs in 2021. I do think he'd be a good fit in the Brian Flores system on defense. I think it'd be a quality addition, not a league-changing one, but it's better than some of the options Minnesota was forced to play last year. Maybe there's some concern about going, or maybe it's a positive thing, going to another former Cardinals corner coming to Minnesota, but it is worth, I think, at least exploring. So what do you guys want to do as it relates to Byron Murphy? S for sign him, or P for pass. It's not the route you want to go. We'll get to a different corner here in a moment, but this is your chance to vote at the pinned comments of today's video. S for sign, or P for pass. If the ad break comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Let me know. Cam Sutton is next up here, and this one I'm super intrigued by because I'm a big fan of his game and have been for a while. Been a staple of the Steelers' defense for several years. Also has some inside-outside flexibility, so a fun little trend on this one. This idea came from Vikings territory, by the way. He already has a built relationship with Brian Flores. They're both in Pittsburgh last year, and he'd be an instant boost to this Steelers secondary. The interception numbers, pass breakups, better than what we just saw out of Byron Murphy. Pittsburgh had a bit of up and down play at cornerback this year. I do think Sutton fits what that team would like to do at the position. We're going to go more in depth on Cam Sutton, but today's show is made possible by Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. You can get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health, and I want a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and I feel prepared to take on my day. I don't feel the need for caffeine in the morning anymore, and I feel energized throughout my day as well. Plus, AG1 empowers the gut for whole body health. Covering my nutritional bases for the day literally couldn't be any easier, and that's why I trust Athletic Greens. I mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water or apple juice if I'm feeling it a little frisky in the morning, and drink it first thing. I'm done just like that, and I like that it costs less than $3 per day, which is pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients, making it the old win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. You will not regret it. The link is in the comment section and the description of today's show. Quarterback in general is, I would say it's the number one need for this Vikings team, especially with two of your top guys, Patrick Peterson, Duke Shelley, set to be free agents this upcoming offseason. Cameron Dantzler, you're hoping takes the breakout year. Same with Andrew Booth. Chandon Sullivan's a free agent. Is a Caleb Evans going to be more than like a backup cornerback option? I'm not so sure. I think a reliable veteran piece like Cam Sutton would be a fantastic signing. You can plug him and start him either inside or on the outside, and it gives you more stability at the cornerback spot. I think at this stage, you want 3 starting caliber corners in the NFL. That's how the modern NFL works, and that means you want some good depth. You want to go 4, 5, maybe even 6 deep of guys you could play if you had to. And maybe in an ideal world, Caleb Evans is more of your 5th or 6th corner here. A proposal, I should say, on how to fix this Vikings secondary. Let's sign Cam Sutton, re-sign Duke Shelley, say thanks for your service, Patrick Peterson, but he might retire anyway as it is. In theory, Andrew Booth steps up. There's your top 3. Or maybe Cam Dantzler has a breakout year, but at this point, I'm just not sure it's going to happen. I think you should also draft him. It could be round 1, could be round 2, round 3, day 3, whenever. I think you should leave this draft with at some point having taken another cornerback. And then you let Brian Flores cook up some good defensive schemes and pressure packages, and you have much better results on defense than the disastrous playoff costing defense we saw last year. So should Cam Sutton be among the Vikings' top free agent targets, or just the outright top free agent target? Answer that for me in the comments. A simple Y for yes or N for no. We've talked about Jordan Addison before. We're going to do it again because Todd McShay of ESPN has the Vikings taking USC wideout Jordan Addison in his latest NFL mock draft. Let's break down what Todd had to say. Adam Thielen is entering his age 33 season, so Minnesota could take the best player available here and get a speedy, instinctive running mate for Justin Jefferson. Addison was just shy of 1,600 receiving yards in 2021 at Pitt before transferring to USC and pick up another 875 yards and 8 scores. He has the versatility to line up outside and in the slot. It's very funny. I think it's a great fit for Minnesota to be an electric draft pick. I'm all for it. The roles Addison played at USC and Pitt are 2 very different options. The difference is in inside, outside, how far downfield their routes were, but he did both very well, and that, I think, projects fantastically to his time in the NFL, despite some very valid size concerns. Now, if you get Addison, at that point, you've probably moved on from Adam Thielen already, right? That would leave Justin Jefferson, who's due for a new deal, Jordan Addison, too. But that's impactful because you still have 2 great receivers, but you're only paying one of them. You still have Addison on a rookie deal for up to 5 years and then potential franchise tags if you need to. You can stagger those contracts to a pretty extreme measure. So imagine having Jefferson and Jordan Addison on this team at wide receiver. That's a dynamic 1-2 punch. You throw into TJ Hawkinson. This offense should continue to be one of the better ones in the NFL. Addison's production at USC and, of course, at Pitt was fantastic. 29 career touchdowns, over 3,000 yards. Blitnikoff Award winner back in 2021. Played with first-round pick Kenny Pickett. Played with future first-round pick, maybe first overall pick, Caleb Williams out of at USC. Addison, some people like Jackson Smith and Jigba. Some people like Quentin Johnston. He is a little bit skinny. That does raise some valid concerns on that front. But I would bet there will be teams, potentially even Minnesota, that have Addison as their wide receiver 1 in this upcoming NFL draft class. We'll see if that changes at all at the Combine. So do you want to take a wide receiver in round 1? Type in D for draft, P for pass. Let me know in the comments section. That is the end of today's video. Thank you all who made it all the way through the vid. We really do appreciate that one. If you made it this far in the video, it makes you a real one. It means you love what we do here at Chat Sports, and we greatly appreciate you. So that we can show you some love in the comments, go type in real one in the comments. Head down there. I'll make sure our Vikings super fan producer Patrick shows you some love for being a real one here on Minnesota Vikings Now.